So this is Claire trying to knit a reverse bob Minimus scarf. The pattern is on these squares, and I'm going to be showing you me knitting 2 rows. Every square in the pattern here, each square is worth 2 rows, a forward and a back, a front and a back. So you can see that in the actual knitting here, I've got blue, green, red, yellow is where I've got to, and it was the red going over the green was the last changeover. So red going over the green is here, and there's my blue, green, red, yellow. So the next thing I'm going to need to do now, I've just done this straight bit, I'm going to try and move the green and the blue closer to each other and the red and the yellow closer to each other. So to do that, looking at what I've got a background of bone, so I'll just call that background. This is the front of the scarf, that's the back of the scarf. When I'm doing front, I'm going to be doing the changing, I'm going to be doing the cable. When I do back, I'm just going to do exactly the same colours as I'm seeing, so it's just a repeat, but sort of like consolidation on the way back. So for this, at the moment, I've got everything equally spaced. I'm going to want these two to come closer to each other. I want these two to come closer to each other. So I'm going to want 2 stitches here, 2 of these bone stitches here. I want to be on the other side of the yellow, 2 bone stitches here on the other side of the red to pull the red and the yellow together, and ditto with these. There's also here, you can see that there's a border, so I'm going to be doing 5 stitches of border, then I'll be doing background, then I'll be doing a bit of cabling, and then through to be doing border at the end. So starting with the border, which is moss stitch, and I'm always starting with a knit. So I'm going to do knit, purl, knit, purl, knit. So going for the background colour, I'm doing knit, purl, knit, purl, and knit. And now for the background, for 8 stitches, I'm going to do the background in purl. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that brings me up to the yellow. And now I want 2 more, these 2 here, I want to be behind the yellow and added onto the bone colour there. So now I've got to get these 4 for the yellows out of the way in the front, also do 2 more stitches. So I'm just putting these 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow stitches onto the cable needle, and they go at the front, whilst I do 2 more stitches in the background colour. 1, 2. That makes me move 1 step further in. So now I want to do my cabling in yellow. So I'll take my bone back, and that goes along the left-hand needle. So I'm pulling that thread, I'm holding it on the left-hand needle because that makes sure that the colours are actually interwoven. My yellow is already at the back and ready for me, so I'm now going to knit the 4 yellows, and notice that I'm holding this along the left-hand needle and then picking up the yellow to make sure that things are interwoven. So now doing 4 yellow knits off of the cable. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's my yellow cable part. So that cable needle will go down a moment. Now I'm going to hold the yellow along the back of the left-hand needle and bring my background colour up. A little bit of a pull just to make sure I've not got anything hanging. And I'm going to do 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. and that will make sure that I've got 2 left there, and these 2 I want on the other side of the red. So this is going to be kept behind the red, so I'm going to put those 2 stitches onto a cable needle and put those behind my knitting so that I can do the red in the front. So this is the one I've just been doing anything with, so it goes along my whoops, I just got stuck over there. That goes along my left hand needle. Then I bring the red up, a little bit of a tug to make sure I haven't got anything too loose, and then I'm going to do 4 red knit stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4 red knit stitches. So that's got me to there. Now I want to do the 2 stitches that are on the cable needle to do my background. So I'm going to be red along the back there. And then, oh, wait a minute, I got into a mess here. That bone should be on that side. So the bone's over to the right, then the red goes along the left hand needle, the bone comes around, and now I can do these 2 stitches as purl, because they're doing my background for me. So 2 purl stitches there, and that's finished off the cable needle part. So now I've got 8 background stitches here, so I'll do those 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I'm up against the green, and I want the green and the blue to go together. So I don't want to start on the green yet. I want to do 2 more background stitches. So just as before, this time taking the green, 4 green stitches onto my cable needle. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I put that in front whilst I do 2 more background stitches, which are pearls because they're background. 1, 2. Then I'm ready to do the green, so I take up my cable needle for that, and bone goes along the left hand needle, and the green somewhere under there it is. So now 4 knit stitches with green. 1, 2, 3, and 4. My green. And now I want some more background. So the green goes along the left hand needle, and the bone comes back up to the front. 4 stitches in between. So I'm losing 2 either side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the next 2 stitches, these 2 are going to go on the other side of the blue, so I'm going to put those onto my cable needle. 1, 2, and put those around the back whilst I knit 4 blue. It's a bit messy. So the bone goes along the back there. I'll try and find the blue. Blue go. There it is. I want it on that side, on that side, because it's not done that yet. Some blue. There we are. Doesn't really matter which side. So 1, 2, 3, 4 knit stitches in blue. Now I'm going back to the cable, and blue goes along the left hand, and the bone background colour comes to the front, and another needle in the way. And I can do those two there as just doing a little tug to make sure I've not got anything loose hanging behind. And 1, 2 background colour there, and then there's 8 more backgrounds now to get me to the border. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm now ready for the border. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches left there. So for the border I'm doing moss stitch starting with a knit. So I go knit, purl, knit, purl, but at this end I do not knit that last stitch, I just slip it over, and that gives me a much neater edge to the whole thing. So that's given me the front next line, and I've now moved the yellow and the red closer to each other, so it's now 4 stitches rather than 8 stitches between them, and the green and the blue is closer. So now I need to go back again before I can do the next move. So for going back, I'm turning over to the back of everything and making sure that the background yarn is where I can get hold of it. And I'm going to start with the border again, which always starts with a knit. So starting here with a knit, I'm going to be doing knit, purl for 5. Knit, purl, knit, purl. This one I do the 5th knit. And now I have to remember that I'm on the wrong side now on the back. So where I want to see a purl, I have to do a knit, and where I want to see a knit, I want to do a purl. So my background is now going to be knitting, and all of these coloured bits are all going to be purling. So now I've got 8 plus 2, so I've got 10 background colours, so that's going to be all knitted, so it should be 10 knits. Doesn't actually matter whether I count them or not, because I'll just stop knitting when I come to a different colour and then change colour. So just follow it along now, it's all knitting. You can count to make sure you haven't done anything wrong. This is knitting on the background to make it naturally be purling on the front. So there's my last of those ones. I'm now on blue. And I have to remember that the back is where I'm carrying everything through. So now I've brought that coloured, the bone to the back there, and I'm picking up the blue, and I'm going to be keeping that on this side because I'm going to be purling. So I purl 4 to give myself 4 knits on the other side. So 2, 3, 4, and that's given me my blue part, and now I'm back to bone, so I'm going to push that bone forwards, and the blue goes along the left needle, and bone goes over to the front because I'm going to be knitting. So that's just 4 between the 2 colours. 2, 3, 4. Now I come to the green, so I bring my thread back, pull that along the left hand needle. So as I do the overlap, it all binds in, so I don't find there's great holes. And then I'm going to do 4 purl stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4 purl stitches in green, then the green along the left hand, and I can bring the bone to the other side, ready to be doing the knitting, and I knit right the way along until I reach the next colour, which will be red in this case, And here I've got the 8 in between, plus the 2 on one side and the 2 on the other side. 12 stitches of background colour here. Again, it doesn't actually matter if you count or not, because you just knit until you come to the next colour. There's the red. So now for the red, I'm bringing my thread back and putting it along. Keep the red on this side because I'm doing pearl. 4 pearls. Red pearl, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then the red goes along the left hand needle. The bone goes to the other side to do knitting. Then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 knit in the background colour. Bring that correct side, put it along. I've got yellow. Stay this side because I'm purling. 4 yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the yellow along the left hand needle, and that can go around the back there. And now I do need to be a bit careful about numbers. There's going to be 2 that I moved on the other side of the yellow, so 1, 2, then 8, and then we should have 5 left. So I'm just going to get that away. Now the 8, always there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now there should be 5 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, and those are the 5 to make the border. So it's going to be knit, purl, knit, purl, and slip the last stitch over to make it neat all down the edge. And that means that I've now done 1 double row, and if I turn it back the right way, that's where I was, I've got this mess of threads, but if I pull that needle out, we should find that those mess of threads actually are not as messy as you think, apart from the fact I've got the blue caught up somewhere. So, if all's gone well, they should actually unbraid themselves, because I've not actually done very much damage. If it doesn't work, then well, you just have to move everything around again afterwards. So, yep, I've got into a nasty mess here. But I'll sort that later. Sometimes it undoes itself. What's happened here then is that those, you can now see the yellow is closer to the red, the green is closer to the blue, and very importantly, I need to mark that I've just done another row, another double row, so I know where I am. And the row after this, I'm going to be moving the green so that it actually touches the blue, and the yellow will actually touch the red. So I'll be doing the same again. I'll be moving those 4, 2 on the other side of the green, 2 on the other side of the blue, so as those touch. And then the one after that, I'll be moving, of course, the green will go over the blue, and the yellow will go over the red. So we'll actually be twisting them as well. So that's basically how it's done.